Welcome back to the morning show on XL7 TV. It's time for This Week in Real Estate with Mr. Bob Zadora.
Yes, sir.
Bobby Z of the Z Team.
Yes, sir.
Today's a special day in the Z Team world. You can't come
My,
in here.
my,
You can't
my
come in
bu-
here.
it's buzzing already. It's buzzing already.
I don't want to talk about this.
No, Scooter's a smart man.
Okay, here we go. I'll shut it down. Happy birthday, Miss Linda.
Yes, it is.
We'll just leave it that way.
Happy birthday!
Now, see, Scooter.
Say
Yeah,
happy
now we're
birthday.
going to have stuff
I
blowing
didn't
up
bring
on the
it up.
screen over there and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't bring it up, but now that it's brought up, no, I have to get involved.
Everybody has them.
They do. Thank God.
At my age, you got to celebrate them.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. It's much better than than other options.
Yeah.
So we have them. We celebrate them, as we should. Look back at the year and say, yeah, it was a good year, and go on.
Mm-hmm.
We look back over the past week or so and say, man, it's been a good week. Beginning of the year was kind of bumpy for us, and I don't know why that is, but it's like every year it's like that. The first quarter's like, and we don't do anything different, but it just, I don't know, just the way it works out. And then we get into our spring-summer mode, and it's like, okay, patting down the hatches. We could have done some of this earlier, would have been better.
But it's cold. It's kind of dreary. And you just don't feel like doing a whole lot.
Yeah.
You're coming
And that's part of it.
You're coming out of hibernation of the winter.
That is part of it.
And the first quarter is a little bit slow to take off.
Yeah. But it's been busy. We've been talking to a lot of people. We've been we had a call because I wasn't here last week. I was just thinking about talking about this. So no, I can talk about this. We got a call on like the 1st of July, and a woman calls me and she says, "You probably don't remember me." I go, "Well, I probably need a clue. So, give me a little tip here."
A name would be nice.
And she says, so she gives me a name, and I says, okay. And she says, well, we live over on Fish and Fiddle Road. And I'm like, okay. I said, I need one more clue. And she mentioned something else, and I says, oh, yeah. I said, I do remember your house. It was 12 years ago we were in her house. We
Wow.
had come out to take a look, and they were just kind of kicking tires, what do you want to do? And they weren't sure. Her husband passed a year and a half ago, and she's got a place back up in Illinois, closer to her daughter, as so often happens. And so she's selling the house here, and she says, I wouldn't call anybody else. 12 years, somebody to remember you, I think you've made an impression on somebody that they thought that much to.
Sure.
So we got her all listed. There's a couple of great drone videos on the website that Jason shot, and we had a couple showings already. So, but just
If
that somebody.
let's talk about that for a
Yeah.
minute. If somebody goes to your website, retiredarkansas.net, where do they go from there to see these live views, to see this video?
It'd be on the listing end of things, and now I know I'm going to get buzzed because she's going to say no. They're on there with the listings.
Okay.
And it's part of the listings, and it's on Facebook too. You can go to Linda's Facebook page, or
Okay.
and he just does a great job with it. It's really something that he has carried over. He's got the day job, as I call it, with the real job that he brought from Chicago with him, and he does this, and he's got the mind for it, and the skill set. So
How is that technology that Jason brings to the Z Team, how has that affected the industry itself? He's not the only one that does that kind of stuff.
No.
But how does that, the drones and all that stuff?
the drones
Does that
and the high
make it a little
quality
bit
photos.
easier?
Oh, sure, because we're an optical society. I mean, people are on these things all the time, and they're swiping left and doing this and going through things, and they'll stop and they'll take a look. And so you got to time things. I think he ran like one's like 40 seconds, and then the other one's like a couple minutes. It does a full tour of the house and things, because that's what people want, and we're able to provide them that service. And we've got a log cabin that we're listing Tuesday. I think we're going out there to take pictures and things, and we'll use him for that as well, and to be able to fly through the woods a little bit drive up make you feel that you're driving up the road up to the house, and what your view's going to be, and drive through the he flies, I use drive, but he flies the drone into the house, and just gets a great tour if you were walking in the tour. It's better than Matterport. For Matterport's the one where you go and you jump from circle to circle when you go through the house. Some people use that, and I think it's better because you get more of a feel of what it's like to walk through the house. You're not making those little jumps. His presence has been, really a godsend to us, and to bring that technology. We had used a drone for overheads and some things like that, but he's made it more live. That's probably the best way to put it.
And your buyers that are coming from a distance, they can do a lot of their legwork.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Yeah.
legless work.
Yeah, I mean,
sitting at the
and that's
computer.
her posting it out. We ran it out on Facebook, and agents called yesterday who had clients that are in other states that saw it, and wanted information on it and such. So it's been, you just got to roll with this stuff. You can't just be stagnant. You can't be selling the same house that you sold 20 years ago, if you know what I mean. You can't keep selling that same house over and over again. People complain about that with some of the doctors, that they do that same operation over and over. They don't keep their skills as sharp as maybe they could. There's a difference between selling real estate for 20 years and selling real estate, and being stuck in something. And we've always tried to do that. We've done that with our continuing education and the different classes that we take above and beyond that, and trying to better our skills at helping people. That's really what it's all about.
Yeah, when you talk about market changes, it's not just the volume of buying and selling. It's the
Oh, no.
technique,
Yeah.
the technology.
It's the
and
way those
everything.
homes are bought and sold. It's the way people see their, what they see as their future.
COVID brought in some changes that have stuck and have been good.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
the real estate world.
Yes, they have, and that part of it has been good. I think that helping us to get the message out on the homes, because so many people were in places and didn't know where they were going to go. They just knew that they weren't going to stay where they were. It was like, get me out of here, and that's what caused the whole boom in the real estate for the couple of years. The interest rates were great. I mean, it was the perfect storm. Interest rates were real low. The prices hadn't blown up because the supply and demand, there were houses that were out there that were vacant. There were houses that were, rent houses came on the market. People that where a lot of investors had a lot of little houses, and they could see, okay, so I can get it,
They could
three
see a lot
times,
of little dollars.
three times what I paid for this. Plus, I've been collecting rent all these years. Yeah, okay, fine. Put this on the market and sell it, and I don't have to deal with people anymore. There was a lot of that, and so all that inventory. I mean, for a while we were down below 100 houses on the MLS. Now we're over 300 again, and it's softened things up a little bit. There's more things to look at when you come here, and that's been a help. I think it actually helps the sellers as well, because people are kind of hesitant. Well, I'm not going to. You can only show me one house that meets this criteria that I have. It's not worth me coming there. Unless it's like, oh my God, I got to have this. But if you can come in and you can show them 3, 4, 5 that are within that range. You give me 5 things that you want, and if we can hit 4 of them on 4 of the 5 in these houses, that's you're doing okay. But the biggest thing, and I say this because you got to be pre-approved. You got to know if you're coming on the market, you need to know what Plan B is. You need to know where you're going to go. You can't be looking at houses if your house isn't even on the market. Well, I'm afraid it's going to sell before I find something. There's a balancing act there, because it's okay if you're looking at vacant houses, maybe, but then you're asking somebody to take a contingency of you selling your house. And we've seen it happen a couple times where people, this house will be gone in 3 days, it'll be sold. Now, we've had people, and we had a couple sat at the desk in the office at the table in there that we've got, and she called her realtor down in Florida, and it was just like row houses. I mean, when you looked at the overhead, and she says, yeah, okay, well, you can get this much? Okay, fine. So did we put a contingency in? She called the next day. They were under contract. Unusual. You know, houses now, they're staying a little bit longer. Unless they're priced right and ready to go, they're going to sit a little bit. And so if you put a contingency offer on a house that's not, that you're asking that person to take that house basically off the market while you sell your home, sometimes that can be hard to sell to convince a seller that that's a good deal.
Especially if you don't know what kind of the market. where
Right,
they're
and
coming
you
from.
don't know what kind of market what price they want to come in. I mean, if it's stuff that that you're going to come in and just, well, okay, we're just going to sell it and go, that's one thing. You know, have you had an appraisal done? Do you have, has your agent done good comps? Not what I want to get for it, but what you're going to get for it. So that's the important part, and to be realistic about things like that. And then the other option is you can go with a non-refundable deposit and secure the house for yourself that, okay, we'll get it sold.
Because now all the risk is on you.
And now the risk is on you, that if you don't sell that house within 45 days or whatever amount of time did you agree to between both parties, that money's forfeited.
Yeah, and it's back on
And
the
that's
market.
it, right? It's back
Let's
in
take
the
a look
market.
at your numbers.
This week in real estate, there was kind of a shortened week over the past 2 weeks. They were both kind of short. There were 37 new listings came on the market, 4 commercial properties, 7 parcels of land, 26 homes came on the market. It ranged in price from $62,000 to $1.2 million. 2 of those are taking backups. There were 21 sales, 1 commercial property, 5 parcels of land, 19 homes sold. They ranged in price from $23,000 to $800,000. The average sale price this week was $203,000 with 69 days on market. Total of $3.8 million in residential real estate closed this past week. 10 properties expired. There were 16 residential price changes, and there's 38 residences pending waiting to close, and that's been falling every week. The volume is falling out of this. I mean, there's homes are coming up and they're going under contract, but not as fast as we were before. Currently, there's 325 homes listed on the MLS. Year to date, for 2024, there's been 539 homes have sold. The average sale price has been $240,000 with 92 days on market. Last year, in the same date, year to date, there had been 535 homes that sold for $118 million. The average sale price last year was $221 with 91 days on market. Prices, part of that is there's a number of big houses that have sold.
A good number. of
There's several $1 million homes sold and homes in the 8s and 9s that had sold. So that's kind of what pushed it up this year. When you look at the national numbers, they're not that dramatic of a rise. But the fact that we're that close, 539 this year, 535 sold last year, that's also an outlier for the rest of the nation, which just kind of shows that when you see these national numbers for anything, that it doesn't mean that doesn't mean anything here. You know, we're in a kind of an isolated part of the Ozarks, and we're our own economy, we're our own, political process. We don't. The things that go nationwide, we don't necessarily affect us the same way.
So somebody just stumbled across the show this morning and they hear you say the average price home is $245,000.
Yeah.
Don't let that scare you off. That's
Oh,
an
no.
average
But that's
over
nothing, but-
several big homes that have
Yeah,
sold.
and that's nothing nationwide. I mean, people are coming and go, really? I'll take 2. Because in places,
write
we
a
got
check?
places in Colorado, Utah, California, some of the East Coast states, they're still getting a big buck. They're not selling them as fast, and not as many of them are selling. But when they're sold and they want to get out of there and they come here, they go, okay. And then as with all the other things we talk about, sales tax, income tax, all the different, what it costs you to license your car, all of that stuff adds up, and they go, Yeah, okay.
How do they get you?
Call my honey. She's at 870-405-0793. The website, as we mentioned repeatedly, is retiredtoarkansas.net. There's all the MLS listings are on there, a bunch of other information and things. But the best thing I can tell you to do is call her, 870-405-0793.
There you go. This has been This Week in Real Estate with Mr. Bob Zadora, the Z Team, Century 21 Lee Mack Realty. 870-405-0793 is their number. Happy birthday, Miss Linda. We'll be back in just a moment.